So I just wanted to show a close-up of Brindle, the boxer dog. She has a beautiful bow on top of her head that has a separate video tutorial on how to make that. You could see that I made some chain 4 loops on the top of the head to attach the metal barrette so it stands up on the dog. And then also I added a little bit of honey colored yarn into her ears. I had more of the honey colored on the lower part of the ears, but I liked it better with the chocolate colored more on the bottom and just a little bit of the honey colored. But you can design your dog however you want. And then I chose to leave the arms all the espresso or chocolate colored yarn rather than adding brindle to the legs. But you can, like I said, you can design your dogs however you want. I added a lot of honey colored yarn to the body. And then I have a separate video tutorial for her little skirt that I made. I used buttons to attach her legs, but you don't need to use buttons. You could attach it the same way, but you could leave the buttons off. And the reason I said that is because you're going to have to sew her arms to her body, just a stitch on the sides of the body, and then stitch her front leg to the back leg to keep her supported. If you use this glittery ribbon, the same one that I used, you can expect to find a lot of glitter everywhere. So make sure that if you use this style with the glitter, just expect that it's going to make a mess with the glitter, but I was able to just vacuum it up. But there's probably still going to be some glitter that falls off of this style of ribbon. You may want to cut the opening after you finish crocheting the body. For mine, the opening is a little bit back, so the opening kind of gets covered, which is okay, I don't mind that. So if you don't mind that, you can cut the opening before, and then you just have to push it down to put the money into the bank. And then the other nice feature is that she will open up so that you can take the container out if you would like. And this is what the container looks like, and then what she looks like from the inside with the container out. It's easy to take out and put in. I just wanted to show all 3 dogs together. So this video tutorial is only going to show the modifications that I made for Brindle, which is the middle chocolate brown colored boxer dog. You just need to go to the regular crochet boxer dog tutorial for the main portions that show how I crocheted this dog. And then for this video tutorial, you will be able to see the difference or modifications that I made to change Brindle into a crochet boxer dog bank. So she's actually a bank. And you can't even tell that she has a laundry container inside of her body that can be used as a bank. There's also a separate video tutorial for the dog bone, and it will show you how to place a zipper on your dog bone as well, which would make a wonderful gift. I used one of my laundry detergent plastic containers for my bank. This is just some colorful duct tape that I used to cover up some of the wording. You can use the duct tape to completely cover yours if you wanted, but I just covered up the wording on mine. And then I made an opening on the one side that I want for where you're going to place the money in the bank. To make this opening, I used my special razor. This actually has a razor blade at the top. There's a safety device on it. So this makes a nice clean edge, but you have to be very careful, of course, because it's extremely sharp. But I like this one because it has the special protective cap on it. Mine measures from the top of the cap to the opposite side approximately 12.5 inches and approximately 5 inches across the top and bottom. Then I also have the cap for easy removal too of anything that's inside. I went through one of my Caron 1 pound espresso yarn skeins, so I had to use another brown skein in addition to that, and so I chose my Impeccable, which I had laying around, and this is how much yarn is in this skein. Here's more information about this yarn, and the color of this yarn is chocolate, and it went well with my Caron 1 pound espresso color. You can't even tell the difference. I used 4 of my Crafting with buttons to attach the legs. The body I started the exact same way as my crochet boxer dog, except I used a 5mm crochet hook for the body, just the body portion. So I made it the exact same way, except I made 2 of them. The inner portion I made with just a regular brown. I didn't make the brindle color. And then also I made an opening, which I'm going to show you how to make the opening. However, the number of rows are the exact same way as my regular crochet boxer dog. For the outer portion that's going to go over the inner portion, because I want to place some stuffing in between to make it a little bit softer, to make up for the harder case on the inside, I made a brindle colored outer coat. So the same way that I crocheted with my boxer dog, instead of the white, instead of the white colored yarn, I'm crocheting over my honey colored or gold colored yarn. So I'm just crocheting with it underneath, and then I'm going to change colors when I want to add the brindle appearance. So when you come back, I'll show you how I did that. But I made 1 single crochet in every stitch around, and I'm going behind my gold colored yarn, carrying it with me as I crochet, making 1 single crochet in every stitch. When you reach row 26, come back and I'll show you how I made the opening. To change colors, wherever you want to add the gold or honey colored appearance, you just drop the chocolate brown and then just go into the next stitch, go behind the chocolate brown colored yarn and bring up a loop with your honey or gold colored yarn, and then proceed the number of stitches, making 1 single crochet in every stitch and going behind your chocolate color covered yarn and carrying it with you. And then just make however many stitches you want with your honey colored yarn. And then when you have the number of stitches that you want, then you just drop the honey colored yarn and then proceed with the chocolate colored or brown colored yarn. And that's how you create the brindle look with your yarn. This is what mine looks like. I just finished 26 rows. You can see how I just alternated the colors wherever I wanted to. Then after your 26th row, you're going to take your crochet hook and you're going to make a chain of 8 with both yarn colors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you're going to take and skip 8 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then crochet a single crochet into the 9th stitch. You can choose which yarn color that you want. I'm going to crochet around behind my golden color and bring up a loop with my brown colored yarn. Then I'm going to yarn over, turn the hook upside down, and go through all the loops for a single crochet. And then I'm going to continue around, making 1 single crochet in every stitch back around to where I started. Then when you reach the point where you made your chain of 8, you can make a single crochet into each of those stitches, and you're still carrying your golden or honey colored yarn. And you need 5 more rows, or rounds I should say, 5 more rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch around. And you can continue alternating your colors of honey or chocolate brown. Now, after you finish, leave a little bit of a loop on your brown colored yarn, and then you're just going to place a little bit of craft stuffing into the inside. Just a little bit. You want to create a little bit of an opening in the center. And then this is about how much stuffing that I put into mine, craft stuffing. Then I took and placed the inner lining inside, and you want to line up the opening with the opening on the outer lining. Then you can crochet the inner and the outer lining together. So I'm continuing to carry my gold or honey colored yarn, and then I'm going to go into, make sure that you have your opening lined up because we're going to sew that together. And if it helps, you can go ahead and sew it now, or you can just take and tie it together with a little bit of yarn, which I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm just taking a little bit of my brown yarn on my tapestry needle. I'm going to go ahead and just sew the inner to the outer opening for where you're going to put your coins into your bank. Make sure you leave enough of a loose yarn end on the inside for tying a knot. And then just take your tapestry needle and go all around the opening and then just sew it closed. Make sure that you don't sew the opening closed, you're just sewing the 2 edges together for the inner and the outer portion of the body. Now I finished sewing the edges around, so the inner and the outer edges are sewn together. Now I'm just going to finish sewing together the bodies along the outer edge. So I'm grabbing both stitches for the inner and the outer, and then I'm just going to make a single crochet all the way around back to the beginning. If you need to, just use the opening as a marker for when you're back to the beginning. Mine is looking great. This is what mine looks like so far. Now you can take your tapestry needle and just bury any of your loose yarn ends onto the wrong side of your work. Just weave it through the wrong side. And then once you weave it through, go ahead and cut it. Go ahead and bury any of your loose yarn ends. We're not finished with the outer loop yet, but for now you can leave that alone while you bury any of your loose yarn ends. Now I'm going to put my container inside and just test it. And you can see how I lined up the opening. You can move the stuffing around to get it to line up the way you want. And then I'm going to make as many rows as I need to cover the back end of my container. So mine has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, and I pulled it so that the opening is showing, and then this is what it looks like in the front. It's got it squishy where I put the stuffing, and then the bottom portion kind of goes in on my container, but that's okay because I'm going to have a separate portion that I'm going to sew on here to cover the back, and then the tail will go right here. So now I'm happy with the length that I have for mine. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the container. And then I'm going to cut my honey-colored yarn. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot. First I'm going to place my crochet hook in, and then I'll go ahead and tie a knot. And then you can go ahead and finish off. Just yarn over and pull the yarn through. I'm going to go ahead and cut my brown portion as well. And then you can bury your loose yarn ends on the inside. The boxer head I made the exact same way as my boxer dog video tutorial, and I still used my 3.75mm crochet hook. I just added a little brindle color into the ears, and then I'm going to add my bow that I made. I have a separate video tutorial to show how I place this bow on the barrette, and this barrette fits right through the crochet work. So I went ahead and attached her bow to the head. For the bottom portion of the foot or paw, I used my 3.75mm crochet hook. And then for the top portion of the brown portion of the paw or foot, I used my 5mm crochet hook. And this is what it looks like up close. So I finished all 4 legs, and I just wanted to show you the difference. So on Brindle's paws, I used the same crochet hook, 3.75mm. It's made the exact same way. I made 7 rows with the white yarn, and then I switched to the brown colored yarn and used my 5mm crochet hook for 22 rounds, and then finished it off the same way. For the head of the dog, if you like this bow, there's a separate video tutorial that shows how to make a bow like this. And for the metal clip, I want to show you how I was able to attach mine. At the top of your dog, you're just going to make some chain 4 loops on the wrinkles. So you just take your crochet hook, and I used my 3.75mm crochet hook. You just go into the wrinkle, and then you can pull up a loop and then make a chain 4 loop on each wrinkle. So I have 2 chain 4 loops, and the bow barrette will fit right through the chain 4 loop. And then you can attach your bow to the top of the head. So it's just a fun way, because these barrettes have thicker metal clips, so it's harder to get it through the head of the dog. So you can make these chain 4 loops. See if I can get this one through. And then you just take and clip the barrette to the top of the dog. They're not the most expensive barrettes, but they attach right to the top of the dog. And then you can also remove it if you want to change it out. The rest of the head is made the exact same way as the boxer dog tutorial, and I used my 3.75mm, the same crochet hook for the dog's head. For the ears, I added a little bit of honey colored yarn, but I found that I liked the chocolate colored yarn better for the tip of the ear. But you can have fun and add as much honey colored yarn as you want, or as little honey colored yarn. You may not want to show any. For the body, I show how to make color changes and crochet around your other yarn to create the brindle appearance. This is my other crochet boxer dog, Athena, from the other video tutorial, and you can see how I show how to make color changes and how you crochet around the yarn. So you make it the exact same pattern for brindle. The only difference is for the regular crochet boxer dogs I used 3.75mm crochet hook for the body, and for brindle I used my 5mm crochet hook for the body. So you'll make a slightly larger stitch for the body and it creates a larger body, but it's the same pattern as the other boxer dog, except you have a 5mm crochet hook. Now for the back portion, you're going to start the back of the body the same way that you did for the front portion of the body. And then after you finish all of your increases, then you're just going to make one round of one single crochet into every stitch for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds. Then you're going to add your chain 4. Here you made a chain 8 for the opening for the bank. Here you're just going to make a chain 4 opening, but you create the opening the exact same way that you did for the bank opening. So I made a chain 4, and that will just fit your tail through, so your tail will fit right through that opening. And then you're just going to create 2 more rounds to secure it, and then you finish off. Then you can take and sew the bottom portion with your tapestry needle. You're just going to sew the bottom portion to the body. So I went up about a couple inches on both sides. That way you can remove the container. So you can see how I attached the bottom only. And then you can cover the container with the back that you create. And then the tail is made the exact same way, except for my tail I went ahead and used my 5mm crochet hook. But you could use your 3.75mm as well and make the tail the same way. I used 4 of my purple buttons, crafting with buttons, to match her purple outfit and bow. Now you're going to take one of your legs, make sure that the front of the paw is facing forward, and you're going to line it up where you want it with the front of the dog. For mine, I lined it just under the collar and right along the white portion of the front of the chest. Then you're going to take your button as well as your tapestry needle and the brown colored yarn, or the same colored yarn as the paw. Then you're just going to take and put the tapestry needle with the right side of the button facing towards your hand and then the wrong side facing towards the body. Then you're going to take and go into the inside of the body and line it up with where you want to sew the arm in place. Then go ahead and come out with your tapestry needle where you would like to have the arm. Bring enough yarn through to leave a long enough loose yarn end on the inside with the button. And it's okay if the button falls loose a little bit, just make sure that the loose yarn end stays on the inside of the button. Then you can take your tapestry needle and then go through the side of your paw. Make sure again that your foot is facing forward, and then you're just going to go right into the side of the paw. You'll have about 5 rows at the top of the leg, and then come out on the opposite side of the leg. Then you're going to go about a stitch over and then go right back through, coming out about a stitch over on the opposite side. Then you can go about a stitch over where you came out, grab your button on the inside, and don't hold the button against the body, just bring the tapestry needle through without poking yourself. And then find the tapestry needle on the inside. So I'm grabbing my button. I'm going to take the tapestry needle. Then I'm going to go right through the button, one of the buttonholes. Then you can pull everything together. So I have both of my loose yarn ends through the button, and then I'm just going to secure the button and then tie a knot. And that's an easy way to attach the button to the leg through the body. And the reason I like that method is because now you can move your legs and it's attached with a button on the inside. Now you can take your tapestry needle and just finish sewing the button to the leg, and then you're going to attach all of the legs the exact same way. That's what my button looks like on the inside. I just trimmed the loose yarn ends. Make sure that as you sew your legs on that they're exactly the same height on all four. Now I have all of the legs in place, but she likes to scooch forward, so I'm going to prop her up. I'm going to take my chocolate colored yarn and my tapestry needle, and I'm going to take and prop her up where I want her, and then sew the front legs to the back legs. After I have the legs positioned, I'm just going to take my tapestry needle and then go into the back of the leg and then sew the front and the back leg in place. So you can see where I just put a couple stitches right here just to hold the front leg to the back leg to support her up, and then I'm just going to bury the loose yarn ends. Just going to take and put the loose yarn ends on my tapestry needle and then just go right through where you tied your knot and come out anywhere, and then just cut your loose yarn ends. And then I did the same thing on the opposite side. Also, if you don't want your dog to go to the side like that, you can put a stitch in place on both sides of the body, so the leg to the body to hold the legs together, propping the bank up, or the dog bank up. So I also put a stitch in to the side of the body and to the front legs. And I actually went a little bit lower on the leg, so you can see about what level I decided to put a stitch on both sides. So now she stands up perfectly.